Hello Upworkers, today we're going to talk about how to find that perfect first job for you if you're a brand new freelancer to the site. Now we've already talked about how to craft that perfect profile so that when you find that perfect job, you can then apply and stand out. So if you haven't watched that, go check that out first, but otherwise, let's dive in. Now first things first, if you are new around here and you want fresh content delivered regularly on how to maximize your earning potential on Upwork, then do us a favor and hit the subscribe button. Now, where are we at right now in this series? Well, we've talked about crafting your perfect profile as a brand new freelancer on the site, and now we're going to talk about how to find that right job posting to apply for that's going to match your skill set and be kind of the right level as a brand new freelancer to get the ball rolling for your reputation on the site. So the way you're going to want to do this is, as a first job, you're probably going to want to go to the work. Later on, work will come to you, which is great, but for now, you're going to have to go after it yourself. So you do that by clicking on the Find Work tab and hit Find Work, which incidentally is where Upwork will send you when you first log in anyway. Now from this screen, you'll see a populated list, which are all the job postings presently available from around the world that match your skill set. How does Upwork know your skill set? Well, if you look to the right of that list, you'll see it says My Categories. So whatever you have listed there, that's the work that's being sent to you. Now Upwork does nothing else to determine whether or not this job posting is applicable for you. It doesn't look at your hourly rate versus what the job is offering. It doesn't look at anything. The only thing that it will do is send that category of skill set, and the only option or way you have to filter down what's being shown to you is by choosing the location. I'm based in the US, so it might say US only, or you can view work from around the entire globe to be applying for. As an aside, if you do work internationally, Upwork will transfer that to your local currency, so you don't have to worry about any issues with that. If you are also based in the US, I'd recommend hitting that US only tab. I do that as well. These jobs tend to pay a bit better, and also it is helpful to be in a similar time zone to those clients that you're working with. And just the less cultural language barriers I have found helps. And another benefit of doing this is some people are looking for workers in the same state that they're in, if it requires them physically being there or they would like that commuting option. That's helpful to know. You'll get those jobs easier, and those are more specialized, and if you're in that state, you have a better opportunity to stand out. So doing US only just means you'll see more of these types of posts, you're less likely to miss them. And as always, the goal with Upwork is eventually to build long-term, healthy relationships with those clients that you're working for. So just being in the same country helps a lot. If you need to send things back and forth, hard drives, equipment, product, whatever it might be, just keeping it within your country that you're working out of will go a long way to helping with that. You'll also find a best matches tab. Honestly, I've never really found that the job posts that are on there really suit what I'm after or the pay range I'm after, so I don't tend to ever use that. For now, once you've hit US only, if that's where you are, and you've put in your categories correct for your skills and the type of work you're looking for, then really, you're on your own, kid. There's nothing else that Upwork is going to do to help filter down the kind of work that you're after. So we're going to do that right now and break down what you should be looking for in a job posting to find that perfect first freelance job on the site. So what kind of job should you be looking for? Should it be an hourly job or fixed contract? Honestly, it doesn't matter. Just pick something that's well within your skill set. This isn't the time when your first job on the platform to be doing something that's right at the edge of what you can do, or in that new sort of field that you haven't really explored fully yet, but you're interested in going to. That will come later, but for now, let's just do something that you know you could do with your eyes closed. You've done this 100 times before. This is your bread and butter. You know that you can do this job and do it well and do it consistently. That's the key. This also is probably not the time to be going for that very high-end work. Even if you're a very high-end worker with a very polished skill set, premium work like that will have a lot of proposals for an Upwork. And as you get to that sort of higher end work, the likelihood of you getting that job with 0 reviews and 0 experience on the site gets less and less and less. So really what you need to do is build that foundation first. Think of it like building your dream house. You're going to do the kind of boring, dull, nitty-gritty stuff to get that foundation going, to get your reputation moving on the site. And once you've kind of built that up, then you can be looking for that premium, fun work, high paying work that comes later. But for now, just grin and bear it a little bit and you will reap the rewards in time. So in addition to finding easy work as far as your skill set goes, the other thing to bear in mind is it's probably a good idea to pick a job that's quite quick and potentially a one-off as well. This isn't really the time to be committing to a year plus long project in something that isn't the top line of your skill set or the top line of your hourly rate. Now, if the job has multiple tasks involved that could be compartmentalized and broken down, that could potentially give you a big payoff and a big way to jumpstart your early days of Upwork. And we're going to dive into that a little bit more detail later, because if the client is willing to be a little bit flexible in order to get someone with your high skill set at a lower rate, this could be the perfect marriage of getting that reputation up fast. And we're going to talk about how this would work in a future episode on this series for Upwork for Beginners. Subscribe if you aren't already so you don't miss it when that comes out. Now let's talk a little bit about what the pay range is that you should be looking at for your first job. Now we talked in the last episode how you should be setting your hourly rate. Now this is a little bit different when it comes to looking for that very first job on the platform. I've heard other YouTubers say you should set your rate high from the start. And while I agree that I think our tendency is to be conservative with what our value is worth for our skills, especially when we're just beginning out working for ourselves, the fact of the matter is, for those very first jobs, you probably do want to jump in a little bit lower than you would normally charge to get the work. And the reason I say that is any work from a decent client on the platform will have a lot of proposals, usually dozens. And the chances are most of these freelancers applying for that job will have some kind of history on the site. Now, you as a brand new freelancer don't have that. So you need to be able to still stand out, even though clients really are often shopping for someone who's been and done this before, specifically on Upwork. So if you can make a proposal where your bid is less than what you would normally charge, as well as having a great profile, you might find that the client is willing to overlook the fact that you don't have work experience on the site in order to get that better skill set. Clients are shopping, and whenever someone goes shopping, they're always looking for a good deal. So give them reasons to believe that you are offering good value, a good deal, and will provide a good service, and that the only risk to them is the fact that you don't have the history on the site, but you're going to alleviate that concern with them as soon as you start the interview process. You're going to be good with communication, you're going to be upfront, you're going to be honest, you're going to be friendly, and that will ease any of their concerns, and they'll be very glad that they chose you, and it will likely lead to future work, and it will likely lead to building those blocks of those first parts of reputation that you're going to want on the site. Because otherwise, if you're only going to be looking for that top line work for your skill set from the very beginning and you don't have any reviews or reputation on the site, it's going to be much more difficult for you to get that ball rolling and to get that reputation going up. This will save you time, earn you more money in the long run, almost certainly. Now, this does lead us to the fact that when you're beginning as a freelancer, it's often a good idea for this not to be your only source of income, especially if you've never done this before. Don't jump into this expecting to be making a full-time wage from day one. There's going to be taking a little bit of groundwork involved, and often this will start as a side gig, and the goal is hopefully that it will grow and grow into more and more of your full-time job. When you can get to that stage, it's very rewarding. The freedom of time on your side will be a massive bonus for you and your family, but at the beginning, let's do the hard yards, let's do work for a little less than we normally would, and we will get to that point. But be patient, stick at it, and you'll reap the rewards. Now, the last thing to bear in mind when you're browsing all these job postings, and this is the most important thing, try and get into that mentality that you are shopping to try and find the right client as much as the client is shopping to find the right freelancer. I strongly recommend not to apply for a job from a client that is not a featured job, the client has 0 reviews, and they have an unverified payment. In fact, I'm just going to say it straight. Don't apply for any of those jobs. I've been on the other side of this process, and I've hired plenty of talent on Upwork as well as a client. And verifying payment is very painless, it's very easy. If the client is wanting to find the right freelancer and is committing to this process that they will check back and run interviews and actually hire someone, then they'll go through the payment verification process. You've already done the hard work yourself as a new freelancer and made a great profile, you've put that effort in, you can expect from the clients that they would do the same in order for this relationship to work out from the off. At a very minimum, make sure the client has verified their payment method. And even that, I'd say be a little bit wary if they have no work history on the site. There's no knowing how they will interact with you or how things will go in terms of communication once you start the job. There's no track record there from other freelancers who have worked with this person in the past. Because you know, as well as I do, that some people are impossible to please. So it's nice to know that this client has had a track record of being reasonable, setting expectations well, communicating well, that other freelancers would be willing and happy to work with them again. But it might be okay to apply for the work, and then once you're in that interview process before you accept the contract, to make sure their communication is good, make sure the job description is clear and you have a solid understanding of what they're after. If that's the case and they don't have any reviews in the past, then it's up to you whether or not you want to take a punt working with them. They're probably taking a punt hiring you as a freelancer in the same boat, so it may well work out okay. But by far and away, the ideal situation is to be applying for a job with a client that has a long track record of positive reviews, has a verified payment method, has spent a lot of money already on the site. Then you're usually pretty well good to go, and at least your interactions with the client shouldn't be the thing that breaks down in terms of this contract, if anything is going to. Okay, so hopefully following these guidelines has helped you to weed out the wrong or just plain bad job posts from the platform, and you've cherry-picked a few that you think are perfect for your skill set, your hourly rate, and a way you want to jump in at. And you can start getting that income rolling in, and more importantly, begin building your reputation on the platform. And next time we're going to talk about how to actually apply for these jobs and to get chosen among the dozens of other applicants that will probably be going for the same work. So subscribe to the channel if you aren't already to stay updated, or go watch that next video in this series of Upwork for Beginners now if it's already out. Thank you, Upworkers. Remember, keep upworking your way to the top, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.